This is PanzerBlitz Situation 2, Take 5. It's the beginning of Soviet Move 1. To recap, the Soviet plan is to advance rapidly under cover, denying the Germans any victory points. This guarantees a Soviet marginal victory, makes a medium victory almost certain, and continually threatens a decisive victory. This is a solo playthrough. Since nothing is hidden from the opponent, an honest player can make this work. I think I can demonstrate optimum play. I worked this out in Vassal, which took many hours over the course of several weeks. PanzerBlitz is not a kid's game. It is a hardcore simulation, even though simplified with a focus on playability. It is at the peak of Avalon Hill game design. I'm showing the recorded game and discussing that. The script is almost 9 pages long. The detail is immense. So here's the board, zoomed out. I'm going to zoom in now, one level. Operating in this mode pretty much. So the first thing we need to do is check the line of sight of the big mortar sitting on the hill here. It sees a lot and actually causes a problem. So check some line of sight here. Various hexes that the mortar can see. In fact, it can see a lot. I'm using these markers to indicate hexes the gun can see. There's a couple hexes here that are behind this hill, can't be seen. And over here, this hill gets in the way. This hex is too far away, so we put the markers down. So most of the north edge of board 3 can be seen by this mortar, and that's a problem. Board 3 overall is too exposed, so this entire regiment is going to have to go east or west. On board 2, Soviet troops need to come in behind the shadow of Hill 129. And the truck and the tank from the middle board could go there, but the Germans might be able to drive in behind them and cut them off. The red markers indicate how far these tanks can get, and half-tracks and trucks could get further. So we put those units in Golod instead. The truck is carrying the big howitzer, and the tank is carrying a rifle company. On the middle board, we can see there's 3 hexes that the big mortar can't see, but there's 8 units to place, and that's too many units, so something is going to get shot. We should hide the recon companies and definitely the mortars. The board 2 force is fairly weak, so we send the 2 rifle companies that way, like so. And the final board, board 1, these black arrows indicate how far the German trucks can go, and this indicates how far the half-tracks can go, and this is for the tanks. This marker shows how far the Soviet truck could go, and if it went there, it can't be cut off, and if it goes there, it will really slow the German advance in this area. So we do that, bring the wagon there, carrying whatever they carry, guns, and the infantry just stumbles onto the board. Like that. And that ends Soviet Move 1. It should be noted that the Soviets have effectively 0 dedicated anti-tank weapons, and that means that the German tanks and half-tracks can run around with near impunity. So we move to German turn 2. So first off, this big mortar can see those rifle companies. It could shoot at one of them at 1 to 2 or both at 1 to 3, and because this is a low odds attack and unimportant, I will assume it misses. Second, I'm going to allocate 3 rifle platoons plus their half-tracks, 2 small mortars plus their trucks, 1 tank and 1 Stug to the west, and everything else to the east. In the west, this force should be enough to limit the Soviets to a marginal victory just by blocking the road. In the east, it's unclear. We start the move by getting some trucks off the road, like that, because they're in the way. And then the Western force pushes forward as far as possible, like that. And then the Eastern force advances, like that. And these units actually start to create some threats against the Soviet infantry wandering around in the open here. And that is the end of German turn 2, and we move to the Soviet turn 2. In the west, the Soviet infantry come running just as fast as they can, because everyone's crazy about the Soviet plan. Here they go. Run, walk, walk, and so forth. And the 2 vehicles block the road as best they can. And in the east, it's the same idea, except you have to be a bit careful about possible overruns. And the vehicles will need to pull back. Stay with the main force, like this. And you have to be a bit careful about overruns here, but these tanks are too far away to do anything useful, and these are too weak to do anything useful, so we're fine. Now, over here, there's only 2 hexes that the big German mortar can't see, and these 2 tanks can see those hexes. So the little mortars, little Soviet mortars, will get shot either way. But if we do it this way, checking line of sight, showing that the tanks can see those hexes. If we do it this way, at least if the tanks shoot, they can't move. And that ends Soviet turn 2. We move to the German turn 3. So we take the shot with these units. Two of them can see. Tank attack factor against non-armored is 7. Stug is 6. So that could be 2 2-to-1s, 1 2-to-1 against the stack, or 1 4-to-1. And we shoot to kill and play to thrill. And one guy dies. And that's the shot, and everything else, tanks and trucks, advance. Like this. Now, with this move, Soviet truck could theoretically run around to there through the German line. I'm not sure if this is a good move, but we can prevent it. So this truck still has 4 movement factors left. So we can do this, and we unload a bunch of units. And that's the German turn 3, moving to the Soviet turn 3. Now, the Soviets do actually get the possibility of shooting. They can shoot with this mortar here. Won't do much. They can shoot with this mortar here. Won't do much. And so we just advance. Like this. Now, in the east, it's theoretically possible for the Germans to trap the tank, which may or may not be good. They would do it like this. Move a half-track there, dropping infantry there. Move that thing there, put the tanks there. But we don't have to worry about that. We can prevent it. Those guys back. And we do that by dropping this infantry over here, giving a flight square. And there is a possibility of overrun here. It's probably bad for the Germans to try it, but we prevent it by putting that guy there. Now, in the west, these rifle platoons are threatening cats against these weak things, so we have to worry about that. If we put the wagon there, then it blocks the road. So we leave it here. Now this mortar, if it goes on the hill, then it can be shot by these mortars. So it'll stay on the slope. And continue the move. Truck goes there. Guy runs. Guy walks. Walks. Runs. Walks. And so on. And that unit needs to unload to save the wagon, so we do that. And that ends Soviet turn 3. Now, the Germans actually get some shots. I'll indicate them with firing markers, like so. Those mortars can see over there. That's a 1-to-1. Those tanks can see something. These can see something. They can see the guy over here, and they can see the guy over here. So the shots are, he sees this guy over here. It's a 1-to-1 attack on the mortar, a 1-to-2 on the rifle company, and 1-to-3 on a rifle company, and the result is a miss, dispersed, and a miss. We'll execute that. That guy's dispersed. And that half-track has to run away. In the west, we can move that stack there, and that would be a 1-to-1 -1 cat, which is likely to disperse that wagon and block the road. However, if it fails, then all of these guys can shoot into here, and that would be a 3-to-1 +1 shot on the infantry, and their risk is just too great. And the road is blocked anyway by the Soviet unit, so we won't do that. And in general, you need to stay out of range of Soviet cat. That's going to be a danger throughout this scenario. And so we stay out of range of cats, we put the tanks on hills, and we block the truck. Like that. And that ends German turn 4. Moving to Soviet turn 4. Take those markers off. Soviet turn 4. There's nothing to shoot at. There's nothing useful to shoot at. There's a mortar here. Could shoot that, but it's behind forest. All right, so just keep advancing. There's nothing much to say about this. Just keep going forward. These guys advance. That one guy advances. So we can do this. That's the maximum advance over here, but that's risky. These could be overrun or shot, and so we don't do that. Bring them back. We continue with a cautious move, so we basically do this instead. And that ends Soviet turn 4. So we move to German turn 5. And we just continue to try to block the Soviet advance, avoiding risky attacks. Avoiding risky cats by the Soviets. Move back slightly. Stay in cover terrain, and so on and so forth. So that's the move in that area. And the Soviets just advance. And that ends the Soviet turn 5. And I'm going to interrupt this at this point and finish the game off in another segment. So this is the situation halfway through the scenario. The Soviet infantry is advancing, basically unstoppable. Germans are trying to delay them. That's all they can do. Germans cannot get any kills. They got one, but that's all they can get because the Soviets will not let them kill anything. So that's it. And so that ends the first half of the game.